Remember in 2022 when the Vtuber bubble was speaking and every content creator far and wide wanted to get in on the hype train? Sorry Pokey, but I only have eyes for my wife Marine. The Vtubing community unfortunately attracted individuals with ulterior motives during this time, leading to a particularly large-scale incident that garnered significant attention. I call it the cosplayer slash Vtuber Armageddon, as it tore apart some of the industry's biggest names, including established cosplayers who had transitioned into Vtubing. The controversy centered around serious accusations levied against a prominent cosplayer by the name of BunnyAyu, who had decided at the time to become a Vtuber of her own, known on that persona as Bunny GIF. And she was influential within both the cosplay community, the Vtubing community, and beyond. The situation eventually escalated, culminating into multiple accusations from various sources and forcing her to create not one, not two, but 3 subsequent apologies. Not only that, but it also dragged in another pillar of the Twitch community, the previously celebrated AdmiralBahroo. But before we move on to the main topic, as a content creator, I'm constantly juggling 3 channels, researching for new content and trying to keep up with everything. Let's just say cooking is usually the last thing on my mind. That's why I used to rely heavily on delivery, but let's be real, it's not always the healthiest or the cheapest option. Then I discovered Factor. It's completely changed my relationship with food. Factor takes the guesswork out of eating healthy. They deliver chef-crafted restaurant quality meals right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. It's like having a personal chef without the hefty price tag. Plus, they have over 35 meals to choose from every week, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie options. So there's something for everyone. And if you're like me and need a little something extra, Factor also offers amazing snack options from breakfast to smoothies, juice, and small bites. And you know me, I love starting my day with a smoothie while I answer emails on my desk. Factor has been such a lifesaver for me, allowing me to focus on my content while still eating delicious, nutritious meal. It's a total game changer. So ditch the overpriced delivery apps and give Factor a try. Get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month of orders using my link. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. Your support means the world to me and it helps me keep producing awesome content. Now back to the video. It all started on an innocuous day on March 16 when the VTuber and horror content creator Lena Lazar quote-RT'd a popular artist by the name of Riku, who was expressing their desire to protect and stand up for smaller accounts that were bullied by a large streamer, stating, "I hope at some point we all learn to put aside numbers of our fellow creators and call them out when there is extremely toxic behavior. I'm still not ready with my own experiences with other said community member, but this inspires me to rethink staying silent." She continues by saying, "Even an extremely hurtful individual can dwell in a cute outside exterior. Don't ever cease to question because they come off as cute and sweet or even a professional in their craft. A bully is a bully is a bully." Susu, another content creator, cosplayer, and also temporarily VTuber, we shall get into those details later, also comments under Lena's post and replies, "I'm so sorry for all the hurt this certain individual caused you and so many others, Lena. I'm still healing from what happened to us all. I love you and I hope they will leave us alone so we never have to go public and reopen old wounds." Lena replies, "We became close through a pretty awful situation, but I'm really grateful for it. We've been able to heal together and lean on each other these past few years, so thank you, Sue. I'd rather them leave us alone so we don't have to keep wondering if coming out will make them stop." A few hours later, Bunny GIF, seemingly out of nowhere, also makes an artist appreciation post, tagging the same artist Riku and another artist by the name of Yuniho. And there's a new challenger, Jenna Lynn Miari, another established cosplayer and streamer. I know it seems like I'm repeating myself, but honestly, everybody in this story is super clouded. And she comments on Bunny's post saying, "Would love to talk about the things you've said about me behind my back, Bunny. I've seen the screenshots. Let me know when you get a minute." Now, this is where things start to get interesting. Lena Lazar, whom we mentioned earlier, also adds, "You caused a lot of women so much pain and mental harm for years. I too have screenshots. Please CC me in conversations as well, as Bunny has refused to speak on DMs for as long as I can remember. I have your back completely, Jenna. So it seems there was a lot of history there. At this point, more people come out saying they have experienced similar treatment coming from Bunny, and things start to slowly unravel, such as the cosplayer Innocent also stating, "Oh wow, this happened to you too? I thought I was the only one." Things then escalate when Bunny's manager, Erin, butts in an attempt to defend her client, but everything backfires. I manage Bunny, just replying here, why haven't any of you messaged her directly? She is giving the floor to all of you to fix problems from the past. Jenna replies, this is between us, unless she is wanting to involve her manager now. I'll be replying to her in Discord when I get home, and that's all you really need to know. I understand it's between you all. I only replied because I can see that you all are ignoring her attempt in trying to have a private conversation with each of you. I care that she is able to put drama behind her, and if that drama is with you, then I wish the same for you. Honestly, I find it a bit weird that her manager is speaking on behalf of Bunny on personal matters, but let's carry on. Now, Peachars is another e-celebrity, content creator, OF model, etc. She also joins the conversation. I'm gonna be upfront and say you do not know the Bunny that we know. I realistically believe she would have never wanted a private conversation with anyone until being forced to. This is years in the making. Erin replies, do you not read your own messages? She said she would speak to you. Why does this need to continue to be in public? Bunny eventually also joins the conversation in an attempt to defend herself. I want to resolve issues from years ago and mend any relationship that can be mended. I simply want to help put things behind everyone. We have all had enough of the drama over the past few years. This leads to a response from Lena where she accused Bunny of convincing AdmiralBahroo to block her and come into her friend circle to make them drop her. To which Jenna Lynn adds her own evidence showcasing a screenshot of AdmiralBahroo having blocked her. Can confirm, went from Jenna, I want to fly out and spend time with you, to a block, no context. Even after taking phone calls from him to console him at 2 AM when he was feeling sad, don't call my friend. No! Susu responds with a similar story. A while back, he shows up to my stream acting super friendly, DMs me on Twitter to talk on Discord. We had a nice convo, and a few weeks after, Bahroo blocked me. Blocked him back because that made me feel weirded out. And even the Vtuber Takahara responded with a similar screenshot saying, never spoke with Bahroo once, wild AF. So that's when Bahroo comes in. For context, Bahroo is a titan on Twitch and YouTube. He has over 825,000 followers on Twitch. Heck, a few days before this incident, he was the 4th most subbed streamer on Twitch due to a very successful subathon he was having. You probably recognize him as this very cute panda VTuber. His emotes are very frequent in Discord servers, and people sub to his channel just to use these emotes. Regrettably, the portrayal of his personality throughout these events depicts him as an entirely contrasting personality. And boy was he pissed when he joined this convo. No! I wasn't forced to do anything. Stop dragging me into your petty squabbles and talk it out like adults, or just be childish and continue to subtweet and act all high and mighty. No! Yikes. Listen, if your first at me is going to be lies, I'm not going to be nice. A few days later, Jenna tweeted a follow-up attempt at discussing with Bunny and claimed she was unfriended. The screenshots she attached show Bunny claiming she's busy and setting up a time to discuss after her stream. However, she did not attempt to contact Jenna after. The second screenshot showcased how they aren't friends on Discord anymore. Seeing this post blowing up, Bunny then replies that she had attempted to message her but couldn't, although she was able to reply previously, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Weirdly enough, those posts got taken down via DMCA as someone was attempting to take down both hers and Lena's posts. But things got serious when Lena Lazar decides to post a tweet longer titled "My Full Experience with Bunny GIF" and a video version of it. Her story starts with initial excitement to collaborate with Bunny on a figurine project. Lena Lazar co-owns with her husband a figurine company by the name of iHas Toys that specializes and creates custom-made figurines and offer beautiful and high-quality models. Lena had just finished collaborating on a figurine project with Susu, which was a wild success. So Bunny, who was Susu's girlfriend at the time, also reached out to Lena to have figurine of her own commission. The terms they had agreed on is that Lena would front the production cost until the project would start turning a profit, then they would split the remaining of the merch rev 70-30. However, the project was fraught with delays and inconsistencies, with Bunny making constant changes and demanding adjustments. As per their contract, Bunny was responsible for promoting the merchandise to drive sales. Every time, Bunny would give some kind of excuse as to why she couldn't post, whether it be moving or having her periods or just being really busy. Yet Lena was always very accommodating. Lena then started to feel disregarded and insignificant, as if her contribution were being minimized. When she did end up posting about the project, Bunny would promptly delete the post shortly after. When confronted by it, Lena, who stressed how important promoting the products for the pre-sales was, Bunny answered in frustration as the post performed poorly on Instagram and she lost her swipe up button. Eventually, as the two women got closer, Lena was invited by Bunny to join a group called Cherry Bomb. Unfortunately, the internet has ruined the word group chat for me and I have PTSD just from hearing it, as they always seem to involve some kind of backstabbing or sabotage. And this one was no different. Bunny in particular displayed a pattern of aggression towards other women whom she perceived as rival, especially those she believed were copying her. In private messages, she would body shame women and make claims about them, as well as ways to take them down due to them making her upset. She was very good at rallying others around her to go up against others in the community in very quiet ways to slowly make their careers suffer, to the point where they were just blotted out from community over time altogether. She would pressure people quite often to retweet her, share her posts, and keep growing through making connections with other women in order to keep growing her social numbers. If this wasn't something they did, she would get angry with them in passive-aggressive ways. In private DMs, Bunny seemed particularly annoyed with one member of the group, Jenilyn Miari, frequently bad-mouthing her and believing she was copying other fellow cosplayers.
If this wasn't something that they did, she would get angry with them in passive-aggressive ways. I'd seen a handful of women be extremely hurt by this behavior around this time, to a point where they started to get in contact with me privately, sharing their hurt and fear of the situation. Many times I felt awful because as a business, I can't step in due to professionalism. I continue to get more messages, and in my heart, things felt very wrong. To be supporting on the side of someone to be so cruel and to so many women in her own community.
Eventually, she witnessed a conversation with Bunny being confrontational regarding Jenna not RTing something. Feeling uncomfortable, Lena voiced her concerns about how Jenna was singled out in the group chat. The way Jenna was singled out made me feel uncomfortable, and it's not the first time someone has been pressured and singled out in a place that's supposed to be friendly, not hostile. She also reaches out to Bunny's girlfriend Susu to talk about the situation, which apparently Bunny learned about. But Bunny doesn't answer to any of the messages and just ends up quietly disbanding the group. So here's when things start to take a turn for the worst. Bunny starts to reach out to random cosplayers Lena had never spoken to, making claims that she had attacked her. During this time, Bunny's boyfriend, called OG Texas, as Bunny is in a polyamorous relationship with both OG Texas and Susu, reaches out to Lena's boyfriend on Bunny's behalf to request that they only deal through Lena's boyfriend from now on, as Bunny wasn't comfortable with Lena's presence in the figurine project, essentially pushing out Lena altogether. Upon learning this, Lena immediately contacts OG Texas, telling him it's inappropriate. She was then told they did not want to communicate with her via emails or DMs any longer for the remainder of the project, stating that he dislikes drama and pettiness, which Lena unequivocally refused as she was the one in charge of handling all communications with clients. It's her business. Adding to this, Bunny still hadn't delivered on the promised cosplay prints for the figurine. So knowing that the project would end up going for another 4 months, and for her own well-being and sanity, Lena decides to cancel the project and absorb $20,000 in production fees debts. Bro, if I had $20,000 in debts, I'd have to sell my house. Except I don't even have one, so I'd be so screwed. But the next part contains the most serious accusation, as after Bunny had cut all communications, she continued to slander and spread rumors about Lena that she scammed her out of her money. but Bunny had kept the money she was paid by them from the pre-orders, which totaled $2,123, and was never asked to pay it back. She says, "Not only I was $20,000 in debt to pay off the refunds, I still had to pay to cover the cost of the production that was already happening. I am still, to this day, paying this off." Lena then takes an entire year away from Twitch to look into freelance work to pay everyone back. Still in remission due to the mess and also back on prednisone as Lena had been battling with cancer in 2018, she had to work hard to pick herself back up. She expresses how scared she was to come back, and the reason for becoming a VTuber was actually because she was so afraid to stream with her face out of fear after everything that had went down. And once she started streaming again, she had hoped enough time had passed that things would calm down. However, that wouldn't be the case as Bunny was contacting as many people as she could to try to ruin her reputation.
I came forward to start Vtubing. Bunny had begun contacting as many people as she could, trying to slander my name as well as our company. She went to an extremely large VTuber group telling them I had created lies about her, that I went after her mods, telling them never to work with I's Toys or me, saying that I took advantage of her financially, saying that I had snapped and that she was afraid. She did this to others that have now come forward with proof, and God only knows who else she may have spoken to in this way. This didn't stop with them. It continued to grow to other people in our community. This behavior went on for years. Anytime I had started to collaborate with anyone new or even make friends, there were times that they stopped talking to me, unfollowed me, and that was that. Later on, seeing them stream together with Bunny. She tried to bully me out of the VTuber community behind the scenes over time and did the same thing with Susu. When Susu had come out with her VTuber, she was treated the same animosity to the point of just about dropping it all together. She no longer felt welcome. I now have a handful of DMs of people coming to me letting me know that she contacted them trying to discuss whatever she could about me. I chose to keep to myself as much as I could, as I knew it was something that I could never escape. I was fearful of ever talking to anyone as I didn't want anyone uncomfortable, and I wanted to try to be happy, pleasant, and show that I wasn't this person that maybe people thought I was. I was much smaller then, and she's always been a giant, and there's no way I had any weight in what I had experienced, so I just kept swallowing it.
And then she brings up the situation with Bahroo.
Later brings up the situation with Bahroo. To be clear, I don't know Bahroo. I've never once spoken to him, and all I know is that he followed me once, and then I was blocked. I had a fear at this point that she would do the same to him as she did to many others, but this time making it worse, as he's an extremely large content creator. And looking into it, Bunny and Bahroo were close around this time. I was so scared of making new friends and interacting with anyone who had contact with Bahroo or Bunny. It turns out my insecurities were correct. I had reached out to a close friend of mine, claiming I was as bad as Arcadum, claiming I was a pathological liar, saying I DM everyone I collab or interact with. This was something Bunny did, so this is a clear projection situation. This was in January, and 2 weeks ago he contacted another close friend of mine asking to discuss this with him. This was many, many years ago. Not only has she never left me alone in the VTuber community, but Bahroo is now doing the same thing, but reaching higher heights to drag me in any way that he can. This has never stopped since 2018. I can't escape it, and I'm mentally tired. I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of pleading my case. I'm tired of making new friends and wondering when they're going to contact them and having to explain myself. I'm tired of this boulder breaking me, and I can't carry it anymore. I tried to save face and keep the peace by not coming out with this. I know she knows the truth, and I know she was scared for me to say anything, so she tried to change up her story in hopes that it made gains, but it hasn't. It's caught up now, and I've had enough. This behavior is not okay.
Jenilyn Miari then goes on to stream to comment on this situation and corroborates Lena's side to the story, and adds that she even has proof of her supporting Lena during this tumultuous time.
We struggled a lot for years due to this decision, but in my...
If you guys need any more proof, I donated Lena during this time.
VTuber Peach2D also corroborates Lena's statement, giving weight to the accusations. I stand by Lena 100% as someone who was a member of Cherry Bombs and saw everything go down in real time. Over the years, I've listened to the fear in her voice, the anxiety and stress this has caused her. I'm proud of her for finally speaking her truth. Lena stood up to a bully, and that bully has never let her known peace since that day. I can't count on my hands how many times over the years Lena was filled with anxiety due to another friend or someone she collabed with was contacted and told lies. It's been endless. So at this point, everything starts to unravel. Later that day, Susu also decides to share her experience with Bunny. I silently endured being emotionally abused by Bunny for years. This is why I have ceased speaking to her for over a year. A lot of what happened to me is similar to the public stories shared. I'm sorry I didn't listen to those who tried to help me all those years, and that my choices at the time hurt others. I'm saying something now because I hope my voice will help those who have spoken out or wish to. I'd like to keep the details of what happened to me and details about Bunny private. I believe there is a chance for her to become a better person and will respect her privacy. I won't share any more than this. Taking time off. Now, Bunny actually addresses the allegations levied by Lena later on that day. As for the statement itself, it generally aligned with what Lena stated about the details of their contract. She does express regrets about being difficult to work with during the production phase, claiming she just wanted it to be as best as it could. She also admits to deleting the promo photos of the figurines as she believed it was frowned upon during that time to spam links on the timeline back then, which I'm not sure that was a thing. And then adds that for the group chat allegation, she admits to being, quote, sassy and abrasive to those in chat. To those in chat, I am always open to talk things out. I'm sorry that my words were hateful, end quote. But insists that Lena's screenshots were out of context and provides a full version instead. But even after getting the full version, I find that the context didn't change at all, so I'm not too sure what this was trying to accomplish. Overall, it wasn't a terrible apology on its own. I've seen worse, except it was completely overshadowed by a huge mishap she did. Because you see, when she first posted the Google Docs, links had somebody else than Bunny as the co-creator. And so audiences believed she had hired a PR firm or a third party to help her draft her response. So her apology ended up being severely memed on and promptly deleted. Now on March 19th, cosplayer Cynnicent comes out with her own statement against Bunny. With the support of my friends and fellow content creators, I'm sharing my story regarding BunnyAyu Bunny GIF. It's been difficult to recount my experience, but people need to know the truth of her continuous behavior for the past 10 years. She will not change. I was best friends with Bunny from 2013 to 2016. In those 3 years, she used me, lied to me, and manipulated our mutual friends and me to hate each other. She thrives off this. She couldn't stand the thought of someone being more liked than her, so she spread rumors and lies and played the helpless victim every chance she got. I bent over backwards for her, was a shoulder to cry on, and took her everywhere she wanted to go. I helped her with finding a better job and filling out applications. I would go as far as waking up in the middle of the night to go over to her house to cook her food or comfort her. I even helped her move out of her apartment when she and her boyfriend broke up. I did practically everything for her. All she had to do was ask. Our friendship ended after Bunny used me for clout. When we met, she had virtually no following, and I helped her build her socials. And when Bunny decided she was more interested in pursuing my boyfriend at the time. My boyfriend at the time was struggling with some mental issues, and he needed time to figure them out. So we mutually agreed to go on a temporary break. During our break in 2016, Bunny started dating him, hid it from me, and then lied about doing so when I confronted her in person after finding out from a mutual friend. She even tried to spin it around and make me out to be the bad guy. To my face! Her betrayals, lies, and manipulation messed me up so badly, I became soured on cosplay and crafting, and honestly, humanity as a whole. I was terrified of running into her at convention and ultimately decided to retire from cosplay and give up a 15-year-long journey within the hobby. After 3 years in 2019, I felt healed enough to return to my loved and missed hobby. I had to completely rebuild my socials from scratch, given I had deleted all my old social media accounts, only to find out that she had gone on to badmouth me to fellow creators and spread lies. I'm still hearing about things to this day. Bunny spun our story to make herself the victim, reversing the roles by saying that her boyfriend cheated on her with me, when in reality, after she stole my boyfriend, she then cheated on him with OG Texas, who she began dating once they broke up in 2016. Bunny accused me of what she had done, which in turn dissolved our 4-year-long relationship and destroyed me as a person. I reached out to people only to find out each side got told an entirely different story from her. Bunny painted the other side as an irredeemable villain, presumably so we wouldn't talk to each other, isolate each other, and find out she was lying to everyone. But that's not all. Later that day, content creator Sam Thorne, also known as Strippin, is also a close friend of Lena, and he comes out in support of her and exposes AdmiralBahroo behavior. Remember the bit in Lena's statement where she claims Bahroo reached out to a close friend of her claiming she was as bad as Arcadium and a pathological liar? As for the Arcadium story, that's a bit of a rabbit hole for another time, but for the sake of this, just know that he's a content creator that was involved in a massive controversy. He regrets not sharing receipts earlier, as Lena and Jenna faced criticism for involving Bahroo without evidence. To rectify this, he shares proof that Bahroo saw Strippin collaborating with Lena and warned him about her, despite Strippin's initial skepticism. As you can see from the conversation, Stripping sounds really on the fence about it, saying things like, are you sure? She honestly seemed really nice. And Bahroo is just acting really pushy. Stripping ends by saying, posting private conversations publicly is cringe, but he thinks that predatory behavior in the industry is much worse. And you can't ask people to resolve stuff privately when that is literally where the bullying consistently takes place. Bahroo, I hope you hold yourself accountable for the part you've played, if only to set an example to your community and people who look up to you. As of now, you've just farmed sympathy on a subathon and let the people who came forward take heat. But now, it is Bunny's camp time to reply back, and Bunny, seeing as her first Google Doc posted on her main account failed, decides to respond in a twit longer on her Vtuber account this time, apologizing to everyone. And this statement is much more repentant than the last one. She apologizes to Lena. She says things like 100 times over, I sincerely apologize. I apologize for how I behaved in those private DMs, for how I went on with business, for tarnishing others people's impression of you, etc, etc. And she doesn't even try to explain or defend herself. She just says she's sorry for the harm she has caused, but by doing so, she's kind of essentially admitting to all of the accusations. She also apologized to Jenna. Again, I'm truly sorry for everything I did in those group chats. The toxicity and the things I said in them to other creators online, all behind your back, for everything I have said and done all these years, for the idiotic and spiteful jealousy, for the mean-spirited messages and the spiteful messages about you I shared, all of it. Now, responding to Lena and Stripping accusation, Bahroo also breaks his silence in a brief tweet longer and cancels the remainder of his subathon. He addresses each accusation, one by one, and apologizes for the harm he has caused to both Lena, Jenna, and Susu, saying he indeed didn't know them very well, and that he was given a version of them that he took at face value. Basically, he's shifting all the blame on Bunny. He expresses regret for comparing Lena to female Arcadium and says no one should have to go through all that. I acted on my own version, which I had in my head, and talked to you privately. I should not have even gone to you when really all I needed to do was just follow her and ask her myself. I consider you a very good friend. It hurt when I saw your post about me, but really it needed to be done as you were right. I was very much out of control and just acting on instinct and not taking a moment to really second guess my behavior. Thank you for being the bigger man I was too scared to be. He apologizes to his community for spreading negativity and offers a refund to everyone who supported him throughout his 19-day subathon. But in an epic twist, this guy's toast then comes out swinging, replying with a "diss you" to Bahroo, showing a screenshot of Bahroo attacking him during his ban when everybody was dogpiling him for streaming an anime on Twitch. To which Bahroo responds, "Yes it is, I am admitting mistakes and moving forward. Cancel culture will continue to drag me until I off myself because I only did it because I was outed. I am damned if I do or don't. I'm just going to try and walk a better path. It's all I can offer. If this isn't poetic justice, then I don't know what is." When it comes to these online controversies, it very rarely stops at a single outing, and so the accusations only grew. On March 21st, a not safe for work content creator by the name of Vixen Shelby also came out with her own experience, mainly during a family trip to Texas where Bunny attempted to groom her into being better than Jenna Lynn Meowry. And via this tweet longer, she dropped some even crazier accusations. According to her, Bunny obsessively stalked a couple cosplay girls, but mainly Jenna, spreading rumors and making inappropriate physical advances towards Shelby's partner. Bunny and OG were also inappropriate toward her partner and often talked about his dick and would often be touching her intimate parts for no reason at all. and Bunny apparently also laid her body across Shelby's partner. Bunny actively tried to alienate Shelby and her family from Susu, constantly painting her to be a monster, telling the boys not to interact with Sue because she hates men. And I tell them that how Bunny was describing her was not correct. She frequently didn't want to include her in outings because Sue would bring the mood down, or she claimed Sue would try to sabotage her. And it just felt like Sue's needs were too much and that she was being overly dramatic. It really seems like she was competing or did not like Susu, whom she was dating at the time, which is odd. Bunny's negativity extended to other creators, saying cruel things about them, criticizing their motivation and appearances, saying unkind things and claiming they should only do characters they look like. Her obsession with Jenna, however, was particularly pronounced. She constantly compared herself and Shelby to Jenna. She would lurk in forums about her, body shaming her, claiming she had botched plastic surgery, that she was buying followers and spreading rumors about her. Bunny even advised Shelby on how to best Jenna in terms of appearance and social media strategy. The trip culminated in a confrontation with Bunny, who refused to listen to Shelby's concern. The tense situation led to Shelby and her brother fleeing back to Oregon. Following the trip, Shelby experienced immense emotional distress. Bunny continued to spread lies about Shelby's behavior, isolating her from their community. This emotional burden forced Shelby to take a break from streaming and almost led her to quitting her online work. Alright, there is one last statement to go through before Bunny responds. U-Rocket is a trans cosplayer and OF model who also had a horrific experience with Bunny, whom she was a friend of for 6 years, and has witnessed her horrid treatment towards their mutual friend Innocent. And it's also the friend mentioned in Innocent's statement that was brought to near suicide because of Bunny's bullying tactics. She reveals the devastating psychological trauma she endured following the abrupt end of their 6-year friendship on September 22, 2017. Bunny spread hurtful rumors about Yuki at lightning speed through all of her friends, causing the rapid deterioration of her social circle. Unable to sleep, eat, or function normally, Yuki experienced constant anxiety and fear. However, in the depth of her despair, Yuki found solace in the unwavering support of her partner Sly and her friend Susu, despite herself still being in a relationship with Bunny at the time. Eventually, through both of their encouragement, Yuki began to re-engage with the world, finding love and solace in her poly relationship with Kaylin. However, the scars of her experience with Bunny remained. She writes that she is still terrified of Bunny as she trembles writing this tweet longer, fearing her retribution. And boy was Bunny furious when she did respond. After this, Bunny had enough. She goes full gloves off and basically adopts a mentality of, if I'm going down, you guys are going down with me. She releases her third and final statement, claiming she is being misrepresented by her enemies and is pissed that she tried to reach out to Lena multiple times but was blocked, and claiming they forced her hand and that Lena had done irreparable harm to herself, her brand, and her friendships. Why would she lie like that and didn't reach out? Here's the proof. This statement is infinitely more combative than the other ones she's released so far, and she does one final attempt to defend herself, grasping at anything she can. You consistently claim the $20,000 debt as part of your suffering. However, you are the one that canceled the figurine in the first place per your contract. You took on the financial burden of making the figure. She also describes a situation where she attempted to reach out to Lena after she left the Discord group, only to receive a vague warning about, quote, watching their backs. Bunny concludes by stating her needs to show the raw truth in her own words, suggesting that there are further details to this situation that she intends to reveal. Bunny then goes on to refute Innocent's claim, arguing that she was not the sole cause of Innocent and her boyfriend's breakup, as Innocent had accused her of seducing her boyfriend while they were on a break. And she kind of spends a large chunk of this segment downplaying how much Innocent had helped her, such as claiming that she hadn't actually helped her build a following. She already had the DeviantArt and Facebook following before she met her. And secondly, that she wasn't that much of a good friend because she only came to cook spaghetti at her house once. She also says she's not the reason Sinocent stopped appearing at conventions, stating that Sinocent had told her directly that she wasn't making enough revenue and was stagnant, so it wasn't her fault. When it comes to the claims of her hooking up with Sinocent's boyfriend while they were on a break, Bunny bluntly replies, "We were two mutually consenting adults and we pursued a relationship after he made it clear that he had no intention of returning to his previous girlfriend." In fact, she claims that it's actually her boyfriend who cheated on her with Sinocent, essentially reversing the roles and claiming that he was physically and emotionally abusive to her. But then admits that when Sinocent found out about the abuse, she helped Bunny move out of her apartment. She also downplays U-Rocket's suicide attempt, essentially chalking it up to she was in a bad mental space at the time. In fact, when it comes to U-Rocket, she believes she was being used as a trauma dump, so this is why she severed their long-term relationship and asked her to leave. She concludes this section by claiming that she is being defamed and that none of these accusations can be proven or corroborated. But then we move on to Susu's segment, and this is the part where it seems she's just trying to cause as much damage as possible. Essentially, her biggest point in this entire document was pinning the blame on Susu for making her become a horrible person, as Susu was her role model and taught her all the ropes of her profession. Basically saying since she had no other frame of reference other than Susu, she became toxic like her. She starts by saying that she met Susu in 2015-2016 and Susu would act as a role model and example for her. She felt like she was a nobody until she told her what would make her successful. She suggested Bunny does more provocative photos if she wanted to quit her office job, and this is something Bunny desperately wanted. It paid off, but she admits it got to her head. She claims Susu would often bring other women into the conversation, body shame them too. She says, "I followed, I did the same, we both did. We were both guilty of being toxic to each other and those around us." I have the proof that she initiated these conversations. She was the one who brought Jenna to my attention and made threads on lolcow about her. She would regularly call peach jars the R word. I know this is wrong and I partook in the harassment. These conversations were private and we were intimate partners at the time. I was emotionally abused by Susu for many years. I did not have a voice to speak up against her, and when I did, I left her. After I quit lewd modeling, I left the cosplay community. I wanted to change. I hated who I was and I tried to become a different person. I never thought any of this would come out because it was all private drama, so I never addressed it. I see my old self in the girls cheering on bullying on a Twitch stream. You have proven that person I was. I'm not that person anymore. I wanted and still want to be better, Susu. You know the truth. You know we were both in a mutually toxic relationship. Neither of us are innocent. As for the Vixen Shelby allegations, she categorically denied most claims, namely the talk about Shelby partner's dick or that she ever touched them inappropriately. On the topic of them excluding Sue, she claims it's untrue as Sue and her helped with lighting for a Shelby photo shoot at Sue's apartment once, and that it was actually Susu who didn't want to meet the boys since she didn't know them. She also pins the blame on Susu for the cosplayers should only do characters they look like comment, saying Susu was actually the one who said that and not her. She does admit that she would sometimes be toxic in an environment where she felt it was okay to vent. More importantly though, she states that the details that Shelby doesn't want to go into is that she inserted herself into trying to help Susu and I mend our relationship. She screamed at me in my kitchen with her husband, her brother, and OG present. I was verbally assaulted to the point that I had to run to my bedroom to hide in my own house. All the others present were in shock of Shelby's outburst. No one, including her partner, tried to step in and stop this. I called Susu and begged her to come over so she could help calm Shelby down. After this, I asked her to leave. Her husband asked OG to drive him to the airport. Shelby and her brother left in their car. What's important to note here is that Bunny doesn't deny describing this outburst as an attack, but she denies talking to other people, with the exception of Susu in this incident, so it's not unlikely she did tell people that Shelby had attacked her. Bunny includes screenshots of message texts between her and Susu, but the messages don't really prove anything since it's basically just Bunny's retelling her experience. And she is dating both of them, so of course they will be supportive of her no matter how she feels. Anyway, she moves on to the grooming her to be better than Jenna allegations and expresses that she simply wanted to help out a friend by trying to hype her out. She was toxic and she apologizes for that. And now for the Lena part, which is what started this whole saga. She sort of drafts a timeline of events surrounding her dispute. It seems she did this to showcase how much Bunny attempted to communicate with Lena and resolve the conflict during that time. But more importantly, it seems like another opportunity to throw Susu under the bus and paint her in a bad light. On December 5th, Susu had a voice call with Lena where Susu explains to Bunny why Lena is upset about Bunny donating to Troy, Lena's husband, and Peach Milk, Lena's best friend, on stream, after she expressly told Lena she didn't want to talk to her anymore. It comes off as Bunny rubbing it in, but Bunny makes a point that she just always supported them, so it wasn't something she did on purpose. Then Bunny drops a massive bombshell. We find out that the large VTuber Bunny was talking to was Silvervale. Starting in April 2020, Bunny begins a friendship with Silvervale, confiding in her about her fear of Lena. Honestly, I'm not sure who these screenshots were supposed to defend. Definitely not Bunny, as she doesn't look great in them. After advising Silvervale not to use iHas toys for her figurines, saying that in addition to canceling the project and spreading lies about her, iHas toys also took advantage of her financially. She starts trauma dumping on Silvervale, telling her about Lena's horrible mistreatment. Silvervale doesn't really add much to the conversation. She literally just replies asking if she had another contact for a high quality resin. But then Bunny keeps on pressing the matter, so Silvervale provides some positive words of encouragement. After that though, despite numerous attempts to reach out and clarify the situation, Bunny receives no more response from Silvervale. Girl dodged a bullet. The timeline concludes with another statement regarding Bunny's relationship with Susu. She attaches cherry-picked screenshots of her and Susu bad-mouthing Jenna in an effort to paint Susu as the bad guy even further, even though it seems like she's the one controlling the tone of most of these conversations. She concludes her statement by going off on everybody, but especially Jenna. She's like, I apologized to her and I meant it. She made my private apology public and ridiculed it on stream. This is against Twitch TOS. I said I would leave your name out of my mouth due to fear and wanting to stop this hate from spreading to my friends. It did not, so I'm sorry, but I will break my promise. You dragged everyone who supported me through the mud. You presented all of these allegations as a fact, and in doing so, have done irreparable harm to me as a person and my brand. You didn't wait to hear my side, but laughed at false allegations to thousands of people. I took full responsibility for my actions, but it was not good enough for you, and you sought only to cause pain and strife for your own amusement. In your chat, I saw Lena, who was supposedly looking for a resolution. I saw Susu, who was claiming she was taking time off the internet. I saw the overwhelming support for false allegations and outright slander. She ends by saying, I didn't want to share my personal life, but I am forced to in order to clear my name. AdmiralBahroo is not part of this conversation. He is his own person. Do not attach my past to him. But unfortunately, as Bunny's chapters in this saga would come to an end, AdmiralBahroo chapter was just beginning to unfold. And boy was that an equally huge can of worms. So Arix Bold is this large content creator that was friends with AdmiralBahroo for a long time. He starts by saying that he tried to settle things privately in the past, but it never worked and he got gaslit every time. And so he is now dropping this tweet longer against Bahroo. It took my friend Sam Strippin to expose Bahroo's lies for him to finally apologize. I want to point out that until that moment, he was on stream and victimizing himself despite knowing what he had done to Lena. Indeed, a clip of AdmiralBahroo had went viral where he described Lena as a professional victim.
This has all gotten out of hand. Lena has portrayed and played a professional victim.
Then he explains what happened between them and eventually builds up to all the awful thing he's done to him. He described his friendship with Bahroo as exhausting and felt very one-sided. He often bullied him to make himself look better at his expense to entertain his streams. It didn't feel like friendly banter at all, and made him feel like he had to watch what he had to say continuously, otherwise Bahroo would be upset. Regardless, he ignored the red flags and continued this relationship. In late 2018, Eric started to get big off Pokemon Let's Go content on Twitch as he was hunting a particularly rare version of a Pokemon. So he started to get thousands of viewers on his stream. Bahroo made a bet that he couldn't do it, but suddenly started showing a greater interest in interacting with him and kept asking to get on Discord calls with him while he was streaming, often trying to control Eric's chat by saying trigger words that induced the spam of his very popular emotes, thus redirecting the attention to himself. Keep this part in mind as it will come back later. Eric says that at one point he felt like somebody had copy-pasted Bahroo's chat on top of his own, which made him feel unmotivated. Eventually he caught his super rare Pokemon and the attention around his streams died down, but what stung the most is that Bahroo immediately lost interest in hanging out with him, so Arix felt used. Eventually, Bahroo would often vent to Arix and say some pretty horrible stuff about artists and creators alike. He also heard Bahroo spoke behind his back, yet often relied on his friend to cheer him back up. It seems he also had some significant anger problems. He even expressed wanting to hurt 2 streamers and 1 artist included in this screenshot. That's a far stretch from the cute little panda we all thought he was. He also had an obsession with wanting to know which artist did what work for whom, and would deliberately hire those artists to make similar work done for him, to the point where it got excessive. In 2019, Arix visited Bahroo, but was essentially ignored the whole time, as Bahroo made plans with other streamers while he was there, and even streamed without him. Even his viewers were confused why I was sitting in the living room doing nothing. When he finally decides to do things with Arix, he's not allowed to interact with his chat. He reacted to 1 person, and Bahroo immediately DMs him telling him not to talk to his chat. Which is crazy since Arix detailed earlier how Bahroo would often control Arix's chat while he was on his stream. Not only that, but later that day, Arix was streaming on his own and Bahroo then proceeded to insert himself again on his stream. Honestly, it just seems like very controlling behavior. During 2020, Arix slowly started to distance himself, and in June of 2020, a bunch of streamers were getting cancelled left and right during the pandemic. That's when Bahroo's behavior changed towards him. He was trying to talk to him more often, being overly nice and polite, but also being very pushy about wanting to have a talk with Arix, probably from fear of him going public with his story. Bahroo then makes a cryptic tweet which made the situation even more awkward between them. Yet Bahroo kept showing up in his chat as if nothing happened. Feeling uncomfortable with all of this, Arix finally messaged him saying he really needs his space, to which Bahroo replies, "Jesus Christ, dude, so like, can we actually hash things out, or am I just going to wake up to a tweet longer about how I have wronged you or something?" That was a breaking point for Arix, and he swore to never associate himself with Bahroo again. A few weeks later, Bahroo had blocked him. When Arix returned to streaming, he made a statement where he clarified that him and Bahroo were not friends anymore, due to personal reasons, and he asked his audience to leave it at that. A few months later, Arix was brought on by Bahroo's chat, and Bahroo immediately shuts down the conversation and lies, claiming Arix was actually the one that had blocked him for months now.
The doctor ordered.
Chat, Alex has blocked me for like months now.
Eventually, Bahroo's manager reached out to Arix to attempt to settle the issue, not being able to take the time to answer the issue as he was dealing with a pregnant wife and dying grandmother. He asked for more time. The manager is Aaron, the same manager that butted in the conversation between Lena and Jenna on behalf of Bunny at the beginning of the video, and she got really pushy and eventually replied back with a cease and desist threat. To which he responds with proof that Bahroo had lied on the stream about him blocking him and saying he was disappointed in him. That's why he doesn't want to talk. Erin replies that she was not aware of this. Arix then answers he asked Bahroo to stay away from him, and now Bahroo wants to take legal actions against him because, what, he wouldn't tell him why he has a problem with him? That doesn't make sense, thus he doesn't want to proceed forward, and he sees no point in attempting to mend the relationship with Bahroo. After that, he receives no more response. Arix says it was a bully tactic, and yes, it worked. despite him having no grounds to actually take legal actions against me, this still shook me to the core. I wanted to call it out so badly, but I stayed silent in fear of him coming after me again. I've seen him crush so many people that have spoken out against him. I felt isolated. This led to him taking numerous months break due to his poor mental state as he started seeing bits of rumors about him. He ends by saying that this is him setting the record straight. He doesn't want to see Bahroo get cancelled, but he wants to see him man up and change. He can try and claim he was misled by Bunny when he made lies about Lena, but to me, that was his own wrongdoing. This statement really turned the tide of public opinion against Bahroo. Before, he was a misguided and perhaps too loyal of a friend who tried to protect Bunny. But this statement painted him as a selfish, narcissistic, controlling clout chaser. Other people started coming out with similar stories against him too. Bahroo becomes a trending topic on Twitter, and while he did pause his subathon, he had returned to streaming, but this new set of backlash forces him out into hiatus once again. Mainly, the artist mentioned in the Google Doc by Bahroo as a, quote, shitlord who needs to be run over by a truck, end quote. And he says, hey, I'm the artist that worked on the early panda emotes from 2016 to 2018. I can't tell my story because of legal contracts, but I'm the artist graciously implied in the screenshot. For years, I was cursed with seeing my old panda's artwork all over Twitch reminding me of him. And another content creator comes out. Scrubbing is a partner facecam streamer that has been around since the Justin TV days. So basically prehistoric. He is known for his cute cat emotes and you might have seen them around. Lots of people have subscribed to his channel purely for his emotes, and he was sort of one of the first pioneers of this trend, having invested lots of times and effort and money into building his brand. If you've been paying attention, I have a feeling you know where I'm going with this. Basically, Scrubbing has noticed a very similar pattern of behavior with Bahroo. According to him, Bahroo has a long track record of doing this to multiple folks, streamers both big and small, and mistreating artists. He claims Bahroo blatantly copied his emotes, including their design and even orientation, after seeing their popularity on Scrubbing's channel. At the time, Bahroo did not have any cute panda branding and was mostly focused on a realistic, pixel-like style. At the time, Scrubbing averages around 50 to 100 viewers per month, but had around 2,400 paid subscribers, which is huge. Huge! So Bahroo quickly recognized an opportunity. Scrubbing explains how he slowly starts to insert himself in his streams, his community, and tries to become friends with them. Problems arose when he attempted to get in touch and commission his emote artist, Dominic Caravel, the same guy that just commented on Eric's post. Scrubbing attributes lots of his channel's success to Dom's dedicated work on his emotes and has nothing but respect for him. However, that doesn't seem to be how Bahroo viewed him as yeah, let's move on. But that's when things start to unravel. Some of his emotes became a complete copy of his emotes, except as a panda. Scrubbing explains how Bahroo put heavy stress on his artists to copy it and take inspiration from other streamers. And while taking inspirations is usually fine, even when his artists tried to make the emotes have their own twist and their own originality, Bahroo just didn't want it. He wanted it to be the exact same. Scrubbing did ask for him to stop making emotes combinations with him, both privately and once on his Twitch chat publicly, but Bahroo had a way of framing things as to set his Twitch chat against him. This behavior also extended to concept and ideas Scrubbing had in terms of his content, which Bahroo would copy the next day, to the point where people started to think Scrubbing was the one ripping off Bahroo. He even had Bahroo's viewer come into his chat to insult him, and people saying they will unsubscribe because why should they be sub to two channels with the same emotes? Eventually, Scrubbing emotes were all banned on Bahroo's channel, and he would feign not knowing him when mentioned. Really sus behavior. But what really hurt Scrubbing the most is how Bahroo seemed to completely lose interest with him after he had gotten what he wanted. And although Bahroo had unsubbed and unfollowed him ages ago, he would still show up whenever Scrubbing view count was high, for example like he was on the front page. He ends by hoping that Bahroo can change for the better. Weirdly enough, another partner streamer commented under his post, echoing some of the same plights against Bahroo, saying, "Never spoke to Bahroo, I have zero interactions or proof of anything. Always thought it odd that sometimes a new emote of mine would pop up elsewhere shortly after. Great minds, I'd chuck it too. But I've had people come into my stream and accusing me of copying him. This felt very similar." After this, Bahroo goes live on stream. While this bot has been removed, this Dexerto article recalls the events. After the initial Twitlonger statement, Bahroo came out swinging on Twitch, calling the entire saga a witch hunt. "We tried to end things amicably, we really tried, but now it's time for the nuclear option. I'm not going to be reading all of this on stream, but I will be using my platform to direct towards the truth," he said on a now deleted March 22nd stream, which lasted 22 minutes. "The internet is not a place for you to air your dirty laundry like this. I will not be bullied off my own platform when I, myself, have tried to reconcile multiple times in private." And then he posted this on Twitter. "I have not hid that I was a terrible friend, and I truly do want to improve with you all. I'll be taking some time off, so may never be able to see me change. I will do my best to hold myself accountable for my actions. This is all I can offer you." He also makes a post on his Discord channel announcing a week off streaming and defending himself. "I have admitted multiple times that I am not a nice person. I'm working on improving myself. Those who know. I will be taking a week off from streaming, and from there we can rebuild, both myself and the community. I tried to reach out to the affected parties numerous times in the past to no avail. People will believe what they want. I tried to do right by my past mistakes. See you all in a week." Eventually, Lena feels comfortable enough to return to streaming with Mamavale, Khan, and Silvervale. But before the collab starts, she briefly addresses the issue, putting things behind her once and for all.
I genuinely just wanted to say my piece, and I put myself out there. I'm glad that the platform is there for other people to come forward and speak on the matter. They felt that they couldn't before. I'm glad and I'm proud of everyone, for everyone that had my back. I really appreciate it. I was very nervous, but I do genuinely not wish harm on anyone, and I hope that all parties involved on both sides eventually end up coming to a point where they are okay. I am genuinely sorry to the VTuber community and other communities for kind of like rattling the cage, like blah, and just like shook it open and just spewed chaos all among the timeline. I am sorry. I know it was kind of a lot, and a lot of people don't really like seeing that stuff, but I can genuinely say now that for 4 more years I've not really known the feeling. I just wanted to be able to, in so many words, to just be free, and I don't want to question anything anymore. I just want to go forward with my community and my friends, and know that all of that is kind of out in the open, and I can put it behind me, and hopefully all parties involved can put it behind them as well and move forward. I think, everyone makes mistakes, and a lot of people in some points in their life can be quite shitty, but that doesn't mean that they can't change. It's not my place to tell you guys to give someone a chance, but at the very least, you can walk away forming your own opinions, but don't hound anyone to not come back and do the thing, because we're all adults and time's gonna pass, and I'm sure people will change with time.
In the end, most of these people, with the exception of Lena, have shed their VTuber persona and haven't returned to it. BunnyAyu in particular ceased all VTubing activities as of September 12, when, without any explanation, Bunny renamed her Twitch channel from Bunny Gift to BunnyAyu, where she now streams IRL content almost daily. Bunny's growth has not been impacted by the controversy at all. In fact, her numbers have only grown since then. She now boasts around 335,000 followers on Twitch and an impressive 1.2 million followers on Twitter. But hey, no judgment, gooners are gonna goon after all. As for AdmiralBahroo, he still streams to this day, very frequently. But he took a significant hit during the controversy, losing almost 7,000 subscribers during that period. And although he is still doing extremely well in terms of numbers, averaging around 5,000 viewers per stream, he never reached the 11,000 viewers high he had before the drama unfolded. Later on, Susu went to accuse Admiral Bahroo of contacting the police on Twitter, claiming she won't let herself be intimidated from supporting the victims of BunnyAyu. Bahroo responded he had no idea what was going on. Eventually, they agreed that it was caused by an individual who was very close to all of them that made the call using Bahroo's name and was very angry with Susu for retweeting tweetlongers against Bunny. Finally, both content creators agreed to bury the hatchet and move on. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed watching this video, consider subscribing and giving a thumbs up. If you like this style of content, check out my other two channels, Rima Evenstar Highlights and Rima Evenstar Investigates. And if you want to support me even further so I can keep on bringing you quality content, check out my Patreon for those sweet exclusive videos. Until then, I hope I never have to read another twitlonger ever again. Peace out. My dog is coming in. Hold up. Alright. A few hours later, Bunny Gift, seemingly out of nowhere, also makes an artist appreciation. I'm gonna say this. A few hours later, are you gonna settle down? What? You just came into the room, now you're leaving? Okay, dog. That's right, leave, dog. I don't need you. I understand it's between you all. I understand it's between you all. I only replied because I can see that you all are. I'm gonna say it. Dog is back. Lay down. First, except it was completely overshadowed by a huge mishap she did.
Mishap.
By a huge mishap she did. And Bunny apparently also laid her body on top of Shelby's partner. Sorry. And Bunny apparently also, I'm gonna say this.